Hi friends, good morning. Welcome to the Technical Take Point and we will see about OOPS in this video. So let me familiar with full form of OOPS. So basically OOPS full form is Object Oriented Basically this line gives a meaningful sentence. It means Java has fully object oriented. It means a Java fully depends upon object. Basically object this OOPS provides you basic structure to write any code of Java. Let me explain. If you want to, if I tell you, you want to make a home. So we need to make first your house blueprint. It means in basically in this blueprint we will draw your basic structure of your home which you want to make. So first we will make a blueprint or a perfect structure. After preparing this home, we create this blueprint because we want to a perfect home. So if you want to basically Java define use because it gives more perfect structure way to write code. So let me talk about inside your OOPS. Basically there are four pillars of this OOPS. So let me talk these four pillars. So first one is your polymorphism, and second one is your inheritance, and third one is encapsulation, and fourth one abstraction. These are the main four pillars of OOPS concept. So in the OOPS we will learn about these four things: polymorphism, inheritance, and encapsulation and abstraction. These four pillars provides lots of functionality and features. So we will learn one by one. So in this video we will learn only polymorphism. So there is anything and right here polymorphism. Polymorphism also divided in two parts. First is your compile time polymorphism, and second one is your runtime polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism contains your function overloading and runtime polymorphism contains constructor overloading. So let me familiar with function overloading. Basically, let me write a basic program of Java. So I create a file class mycl1, and in the mycl1 we will declare a constructor. So basically we know if you want to declare a constructor or create a constructor, we need to write as class name. So write here mycl and this, and we will create one more program class mycl2, and in the mycl2 we will declare a main class, main function, public static void main string arguments. If I tell you if I tell you you will make a function to print your name. So public static void print name. When we execute this program, this code, when this code will execute, it's print your name. Once time, okay? Now again I will tell you, you have to create one more function which prints your name 10 times. So what should I do now? Let me first create your function which prints your name 10 times. So public static void print name, and now we will take a integer in the form of parameter, and we will declare a for loop and terminator till xi is equal to 1 to I less than is equal to x. So when we will declare, or if we have to access of this function, we have to make a object of this class. For creating or object of this class, we need to write mycl1 ob1 is equal to new mycl1. This is their not parameterized constructor. So when we write this code, a mycl1 object created and assigned to ob1. So all properties, all methods and properties has also this ob1. So if you want to use this function, we need to access of this ob1. So right here ob1 dot this function name, print name, and we will have to give a parameter integer. So right here your x value. If you want to write here 10, then this function, when this function executes, it prints your name 10 times. So when we will run this code output will come out basically this is the output of this program. So I tell you again, you will have to make one more function which takes as a parameter name and your x value. So this function take your name and x value and same name but different parameter. So where we take x and your string name. So what we'll do now. Here we will write print ln and your string value which is name, and here we will give name. So which name value we will give in the parameter prints in this line. So if you want to access of this function, we need to write here, and we will have to give one more parameter. First is your 10 and here your name technical. So basically function overloading works as it is. It means we have to declare one function but with more functionality. It means it's looking like same but working is too different. It means only looking is same, but we will divide into lots of part if you want to create this type of function. So first we have to declare print name. It means this is non-parameterized function. This means in this body we will take nothing, and we will again write same name function print name, and in this function we will take a parameter, one parameter, so int x, and we will create one more function print name, and in this we will take a integer and a string value. It means how is it work and how to know the code which function will call out through this your main function. So if you want to give nothing in parameter, so this function will call, and when we will give a integer value in the parameter body, then this function will work out, and when we will give a integer and a string value, then this function will call out. So basically this is called your function overloading, and is it work? So let's talk about your constructor overloading. So write here constructor overloading, and it has runtime environment, runtime overloading. So it has constructor overloading. So let me explain constructor overloading. In the constructor overloading, let me write a basic function or basic program. So this is your class and it is your class name, and we will declare integer x, an integer y, and integer z. So basically in this function, in this program, we will declare three constructors with different number of parameter or different parameter. So let me declare first constructor, same class name with no parameter, and it's give only x value which is 10. So we will again create a constructor, class name, and with one parameter. It means we will take value of y, int y. So in this constructor we will assign the value of y with this y. So for assigning the value we will write this dot y is equal to y. So this function or this assign the value of y, and we will create one more constructor, class name, with two parameters, int x, int y, and int z. So we will assign the value this dot y is equal to y, or this dot y is equal to z, z is equal to z. So this is called constructor overloading, and it is this work. How is it work? As you can see, if you write this class name with no parameter, it means only x value assigned is equal to 10, and when we give class name constructor with value of 20, then in this line it assign y is equal to 20, in this line y is equal to 20, and here your x is equal to 10 already, and x is equal to 0 or nothing. In this line y is equal to 20. When we will give two parameter, class name 30 and 50, then here your y is equal to 30 and z is equal to 50. So thank you for watching this video. Have a good day.